Hey everybody, welcome to the Top Shelf with your host Anchorman. I'm back from E3 and ready to get back into the thick of it, covering topics across fandom. Be sure to leave some feedback in the comments or hit me up on Twitter with your thoughts at AnchormanV2. I try to cover a lot of different topics on this show, and today, while I really want to cover the CSGO Lotto situation, I'm going to wait and see how that story develops a little bit more. But today I want to cover something just as culturally important, Ghostbusters. Now, I want to preface this video by saying I'm not advocating that you not see the new Ghostbusters movie, but rather you do not go see it in theaters. I'm in no position to tell you what to see or not see, but there are other methods of seeing this movie rather than just in the theater. Like, personally, I'll eventually wait to see it on Blu-ray when it hits, and I'm sure many of you will pirate the movie. What I really want to emphasize, though, is that for the greater cultural good, on July 15th, 2016, that you either stay home or go see another movie, or really do anything else than go see Ghostbusters. You see, I don't really care for the original Ghostbusters. It's a good movie, but I don't see what makes this franchise such a classic, so when they announced a reboot, I really didn't give a damn because I don't care about this franchise. But over time, I slowly realized that due to the way the film has been handled and the message that it will send to Hollywood should this film be a success, that the importance of this film is paramount. The main reason you should avoid this new Ghostbusters is that the movie itself just doesn't look too good. I mean, the film itself is first sending mixed signals as to whether or not this is a generational reboot within the same timeline or a total reboot. And what I mean by that is that there are several kinds of reboots, but for the purpose of this video, there is the generational soft reboot and the hard reboot. The soft reboot is normally within the same universe, sometimes from a different perspective, but all the same events still occurred. Think of it like Jurassic World. It's the same universe, but there hadn't been any Jurassic Park movies in a while, and they made this to appeal to a new generation. Then there's the hard reboot, like what we've been seeing with RoboCop, Ben-Hur, and Star Trek, where none of the stuff established prior ever really happened, and there's nods to the older versions, but these films aren't a continuation, but are meant to replace the continuity. And how that fits with the Ghostbusters movie that's coming out soon, is that the trailers have been throwing very mixed messages. Like, the first trailer said that decades ago it was 4 scientists who saved the world, which Winston wasn't actually a scientist. And the Ghostbusters logo exists already in a subway station. That leads me to believe that it's a soft reboot and other characters from the old movies can show up. But then they say that Dan Aykroyd's character isn't in the movie, and Aykroyd is, but it's as a cameo role, and that is just a hard reboot. It's just confusing. The plot looks like it to be the same retreading of the first 2 films, a safe la-di-da movie with the okay comedians and a gimmick that all of them are women, which director Paul Feig and Sony have been playing up. And it would have been a harmless reboot if it weren't for Feig and Sony playing up their gimmick and crying about fan backlash. And that leads me to my second point. The marketing for Ghostbusters has just been atrocious. When the first trailer hit, the trailer itself was just horrible with unfunny jokes and a rather just uninspiring trailer. But for the trailer to become the most disliked trailer on YouTube was quite an accomplished feat. I mean, currently 3 out of 4 people disliked the Ghostbusters trailer according to like to dislike ratio on the main video. You have to do something truly bad to get that much hate on a video, and it can't just be angry misogynists. I mean that 50% of the population are women, so even some women had to dislike this trailer despite it showcasing a female lineup, so it can't just be misogynist. But there has to be something else that riled up potential viewers to give this much hate, and that responsibility lies on Paul Feig and Sony Pictures. Ever since the gimmick of an all-female Ghostbusters was announced, Feig had been on this defensive, calling the very people who would see the movie assholes and claiming misogyny on anyone who spoke ill about his project. And I can understand that, defending your product, that is at least that. But to go above and beyond, but to make the push of the movie to quote-unquote destroy men's childhoods. They've gone on shows and actively antagonized the fandom, worse off than Mighty Number 9 did. You are effectively telling your fans that you don't care what they think and you want to piss them off. Take a look at Marvel Studios when they make adaptations from the comics to the movies. They tell people they want to respect the franchise and the characters and make necessary changes with those in mind. But that because they respect the fandom, they don't get panned and destroyed by the fandom. but this is a whole new level. They are banking on the name of Ghostbusters to sell the product completely here, and as we learned from Warner Brothers, that won't necessarily work. I mean, if Batman v Superman, a title that anyone would have thought was guaranteed gold, can't break $1 billion at the box office, what chance does Ghostbusters have? And by the way, I'm not saying that Ghostbusters should break $1 billion. I'm just saying that even if a popular franchise with two of the most iconic heroes on the planet in an age where superhero movies are popular with no other competition in theaters can't at least hit $1 billion, imagine what this film will do. It's not just the antagonistic marketing, but the lengths to which Sony goes for this movie, and the promotion is insane. They trot out Bill Murray and Dan Aykroyd out there to promote this movie, and that's somehow supposed to put our minds at ease. But let me say it once again. This is paid promotion. They are in the movie. Of course they're not going to say anything bad about it. Not only that, but just a few weeks ago, an email was leaked about Sony blackmailing Bill Murray to promote Ghostbusters, which if he wants to keep a share of the product, he has to do. We can't trust these actors in what they say are decent films. It's a conflict of interest at best. They want their movies to do well, and they will not tell you that the movie they worked on is crap unless the situation is in their favor to do so. But perhaps the bigger reasons why you shouldn't go see Ghostbusters this summer is that it's clear nostalgia bait. Every generation has gone through this sort of thing where Hollywood panders to the nostalgia of the dominant generation. I mean dominant in terms of entertainment dollars. And this time they're going after movies and shows late Gen X and millennials grew up with. It's happening now, and I don't think it will ever stop. And some studios are putting in the time and effort into the reboots to pay homage to the classics, while others are just trying to cash in on whatever franchise they have the rights to. These reboots will never stop, but we do have a say on how they turn out and how quickly they may come. If you go see Ghostbusters and this film is a success, that will send a message out to the other studios that these kinds of reboots are acceptable. And you know what that means? New reboots of all your favorite movies will come without giving a damn to the originals. Goonies, Neverending Story, Princess Bride, and dare I say it, Back to the Future will all see reboots in the next decade. But you can play a part in curbing that time frame, making sure the studio does the originals their due diligence. So that's all I really wanted to say on the issue. I hope you guys liked the video, and I'll see you guys later on the next episode of Top Shelf.